Hey guys, Snore Nightmare here, and I thought that today I would do a get ready with me and, just sort of chat a little bit. So I'm gonna get started on my face, and while I do that, I will talk to you guys. I have a mirror just right over here, so if you notice me looking off in weird directions, I'm looking at the mirror. So I've heard a lot of people debating about the place that music has in the goth subculture. And I think that that is a pretty valid topic of conversation, especially because goth has been around now for almost 40 years. Like, it's not a brand new thing. And so there's been a lot of time for it to change and for there to be, natural progression in the music. We are now on multiple generations of people who have grown up goth. I'm starting to notice goths in their 50s and 60s, and it's really cool. But it does lead to a little bit of issue trying to figure out what makes you a goth. And so my personal opinion on the matter, which obviously means jack shit, but my personal opinion on the matter is that music does play a really big part of it, but that is not all of it. There is a real culture to goth. The music draws influence from other places. So without gothic literature, there would be no goth music. Without a lot of horror movies from the 50s and 60s, there wouldn't really be, especially death rock, but goth on the whole. So we have to be a little more willing to talk about all of the things that make us goth as opposed to completely limiting it to music. That said, I think that if you don't listen to any goth music at all, maybe you're not a goth, because if you don't listen to any goth music, that really is what sort of solidified the culture, even if it isn't the sole thing that makes up the culture. So I think that if you don't listen to at least some goth music, you're probably not a goth. But even what makes up goth music, that's a pretty freaking broad array of stuff. So, darn near anybody, I think, can find something that they like. If you're a punk, there's a lot of goth music that you could probably get behind. Early Susie, early Cure, a lot of just really early goth when it was still in the process of breaking off from punk. If you like metal, there's a lot of gothic rock that a lot of metalheads can appreciate and get behind. If you like, techno, try EBM. Sorry about that. Wasn't sure if I was having an emergency. So, as I was saying before, there is so much out there in the realm of goth music that damn near anybody can find something to get into. I definitely think that we've gotten a little too set in you have to listen to all goth music all the time to be a goth. I'm a goth. I'm a very proud goth. Have been for more than half my life. Don't really listen to goth music all the time, only when I get a taste for it. I listen to more horror punk and psychobilly than pretty much anything else. But I listen to enough goth music that I have sort of my foot in the door, and I also take part in the larger goth culture. So I definitely think that it is important more than anything to participate in goth culture. And by that I mean hang out with other goths, go to goth events, support goth musicians and artists and events. So that was the bulk of what I wanted to talk about. I'm sometimes a little surprised at the relative lack of inclusion of horror punk in the larger goth conversation. And I understand, like, everybody likes the Misfits, but other than that, I feel like a lot of people don't really know that much about horror punk. Or they know, like, some of the, I don't want to say poppier, but, like, some of the more punk-edged stuff, and they don't really necessarily know that there's a lot of very, like, gothic-edged horror punk. The artists that really spring to mind for me for that, Argyle Goolsby and the Roving Midnight. Goolsby used to be in Blitzkid, for those of you who are into horror punk. And there's also Shadow Windhawk, who actually performs with Goolsby, and they're like super close buddies, and Shadow Windhawk is also super awesome. So if you are a goth who likes a little bit faster, more punk-laced music, I highly recommend those two artists. They really get to the gothic side of it. They're very heavily influenced by gothic literature and gothic soundscapes. Shadow Windhawk is also in a goth band. He's in Tragic Black. At least he is sometimes. I'm not sure if he's like a full-time permanent member or what. But highly, highly recommended. Good, fun music, especially, you know, at Halloween time. Nothing's better than horror punk at Halloween. This is definitely more of like an everyday makeup, definitely not going out or anything. The only place I have to go today is Walgreens. When my husband, Nick, gets home from work, we are doing the Christmas tree and everything. It's our first year as a full family. Nick and I got married in February, the same week as Valentine's Day, because we're huge dorks. And it was just like a little quickie wedding. We're gonna have a bigger ceremony later, but circumstances required that we do something. So yeah, we just had like a little quickie thing. This is our first year, like, as a full family. It's our first year in a house. So we're really, really excited to get the tree up and everything. And because it's our first year in a house, I volunteered to host my mom, dad, and sister for Christmas. So that'll be really cool. I'm lucky. My sister is also, I wouldn't say she's 100% goth, but she is sure as heck goth adjacent. And I talked about my folks in my getting to know you video. So they're super duper cool and awesome. So having them for a major holiday is actually something to look forward to. I'm not nervous. I'm not freaking out at all. I mean, only like the normal way. I want my house to be clean. Yeah, I don't want anything to go like massively wrong, but I'm also not super worried. Sorry about that. We had a low-key peanut butter emergency. So this has been a very circular conversation. I haven't really said anything particularly coherent. But, so back to some version of the original point, which was goth music is super duper important, but it's not the be all end all. Likewise, I think looking goth isn't that important. I think that it has been artificially conflated with authenticity. Dressing or presenting yourself in an extreme way has pretty much jack shit to do with actually being a goth. My personal thought on the matter is liking the music and being involved in the culture in some way is way more important than how you look. Dressing goth is essentially just a way of signaling to other people that you're a goth. So, you know, if I'm trying to make goth friends specifically in like a really concerted way, yeah, I'll probably want to look a little more extreme so that I can be like, yes, look at me, I'm a fellow goth, please, goth friends. But, I mean, if that's not something that's appropriate for you for whatever reason, you know, be it lifestyle or circumstances or just personal preference, a lot of people just don't give a shit about dressing up, and that is completely fine, and it doesn't make them a bad goth or anything. But I mean, the thing that makes you a good goth or a bad goth is involvement in the culture. Or, I mean, say you live in a place where there is no goth culture. Yeah, you're not going to be able to participate at like a super aggressive level. But you can participate online, and you can participate in the culture in your own way, like at home. You know, sitting at home with, you know, a candle lit reading Edgar Allan Poe, it's pretty goth. that's like your personal way of doing it. But the way you look, it doesn't matter really at all. It really is just a signifier. And if that's not appropriate for you or your lifestyle, then be damned. Like, it has nothing to do with anything. And that's something that I've really started noticing watching goths age. The, you know, baby bats usually have the most ability to dress up and to look more extreme, especially without like quite as much social repercussions. But a lot of times, like as goths get older, you know, we get jobs where maybe we have to look more conservative, or we have a lifestyle where maybe we just don't feel comfortable dressing up all the time. Like, I don't always feel comfortable dressing up a lot because I'm a mom in the Bible Belt. And, you know, I've been really lucky because I haven't really dealt with a whole lot of crap for it. Oh, I hear tiny feet. I'll be right back. I was just informed in a very aggressive way that the way that I have changed the basement furniture is unacceptable. I think one of the nicest things about starting up a YouTube channel is that it has kind of forced me to wear makeup. Oh, somebody just said she's sorry. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back for the moment. And now I have to be quiet for a minute. Well, I am now fully made up and feeling as good as it's gonna get. So, thank you very much for sitting through all this crap. And thank you. And I will see you guys again soon. Don't forget to leave comments down below if you have any questions or anything you want to see. Let me know. I'm here. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.